Item 85, approving the levy and assessment pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statutes 33-9038.76E2B of the sales and use tax and hotel occupancy tax within the Louisiana State University Economic Development District as established by the district's Board of Commissioners by Councilwoman Carolyn Coleman. Anyone here wishing to speak on this item? Have Mr. Charles Landry, 100 North Baton Rouge.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I think this has been a long path getting here this evening that started over 8 years ago. I thought a little history would be helpful because we were doing economic development districts all over the state. When Bill Jenkins was president of LSU as a volunteer, I'm here as a volunteer. I'm not being paid. I don't represent the EDD. I have an interest in our community and a big interest in what happens at LSU. And I noticed that LSU could have been the beneficiary of an economic development district and started with President Jenkins way back when to suggest that we do that. And it bled into President King Alexander, who decided at the predecessor of Ms. Coleman that he would go forward with an economic development district to come before you to be set up by the council. Because I was doing this pro bono and I was going to do the documents, it was easy to take the L off of LSU and have SU and have all the documents for Southern. So I went to Senator Cleo Field and I said, I'm happy to do this for Southern too. And he said, no, I'd rather have this done by the legislature. So 4 years ago, this was a bill that I prepared at his request, but not for LSU or Southern. It was for all universities and colleges in the state. If we were going through the trouble, let everybody have the opportunity to do this for all the universities. It ran into some headwinds, and he decided 4 years ago to pull that legislation. LSU then decided to go forward again, coming before you. I think at that time we were dealing with Ms. Coleman 3 years ago, and called Senator back and said, Senator, we're going to go back on to the council. And he said, no, sir. I would like to introduce legislation. This is before any thought of anything other than an economic development district to lift a district around LSU and a district around Southern. No projects, just getting the opportunity to get funding to elevate these whole districts. So he again said, I want to do this only for LSU and Southern. That's it. And so we redrafted the legislation. It went through the process of the legislature. With all due respect to the council, there's a lot more notoriety and attention to matters that are before the legislature, including some businesses that were industrial businesses that Senator Field wanted to include in that legislation that caused some issues.
Mr. Landry, you have about 15 seconds.
All right, we resolved it. And now you have the legislation in front of you, just like Southern came before you to get their 1 cent approved, which happened a month ago. We're here simply to continue the good work of Senator Field to get this EDD in place. It is formed, and we're just asking for the 1 cent approval in the Economic Development District as a whole. You may hear that there's some question about whether there's any residents in the district. Here is an updated certification from the registered voter that there can't be because the legislation prohibits it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, wishing to speak is Mr. Darrell Glasper.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, I'm in opposition to this economic development district, and I'll tell you why. Simply because you talk about Southern, and I know a lot about Southern. I spent a lot of years up at Southern. I have a number of questions, and I issue those questions to you. You're about to approve something where the committee or the board by the president of Louisiana State University has not even been formed yet. You're giving them an opportunity to go forward for the tax. What is the tax going to be used for? The questions you need to ask your legal counsel as a former elected official. You have the authority to vote. And after reading, the reason I brought all this up here, I've read document after document about the sub-district, about the district itself, about the creation of the district, and I'm saying to you all, in my opinion, as a former elected official, it wasn't written here. Mr. Landry, and I like and respect you a lot, but I knew that it didn't come out of the parish attorney's office. Let me tell you why. Because this does not protect the individual business owners in that district. That's according to my opinion. Of course, you gotta have a high school education. You got to remember that. Seriously, and I'm not trying to say that with any facetiousness. It's just the fact that if you're going to do something, why wait? Ask the questions. There's nothing wrong with asking the questions. The questions are very difficult questions to a group out at LSU. Now, in my opinion, I can stand here very confident and say this whole tax is to prop up the development. It may have not been created for that, but because it was created, it's going to be used. It's going to prop up the individuals who are sinking. Oakview is sinking. You're propping them up. And this is the first step. The next step is come before you and ask you for 2 cents. Now, Councilman Coleman, I don't dislike you at all. But I'm going to say to you, and I'll say it in front of everybody, I served that district. I know that district like the back of my hand. Look at the district itself and what it needs. It doesn't need a $400 million arena. You can't buy a championship. And I played on many championship teams. Not talking about me. It's all about team. You can't buy a championship. You may love LSU, but you're going about it the wrong way. Now, when you talk about how much money it's going to generate, you have Our Lady of the Lake going to put up $50 million. They can't put up this million or whatever it's going to be. You have all the boosters. You have the TAF. You have a John Inquest. Everybody who's supporting it. Baton Rouge Area Foundation. Why can't they come up and take the position of the taxpayers?
We got about 15 seconds.
Okay, I'm just saying. So I want to say an appeal to you all. See that white button? It's the best friend you ever had.
Next we have Mr. Woody Jenkins, 910 North Foster.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members, a pleasure to be with all of you today. Before I discuss really the concerns and problems I have with the proposal, I want to just say something that maybe the parish attorney could take a look at while we're discussing this matter, and that is the clear provisions of Constitution, State Constitution, Article 629 prevent the imposition of more than 3-cent sales tax within a parish. I believe that this proposal would violate that and go beyond it. If you look at the language in Article 6, Section 29, it says that you can't go beyond 3%, those levied by your local governments and your school board and in any governmental unit. Now, it says there is an exception to that, and that is that if authorized by the legislature, a local governmental subdivision, and that's going to be a city council or a parish or a school board, can levy additional. But this is not what's being proposed here. The levy would be by this political subdivision. So while you're debating this, you might want to ask your parish attorney to look at that and see if you are, with this proposal, violating Article 1, Section 29 of the Constitution. Let me say, too, if I passed out a map, and if you could take a look, if you have not had a chance to take a look at this map, it is important. And I want to ask you to look up, I think most everybody will be familiar with where Tiger Town is. You'll see Tiger Town is to be taxed. If you look down Highland Road at the shopping center there, and down Burbank and down Nicholson, according to LSU, the records I saw yesterday, there are 109 businesses that would be subjected to this additional sales tax, which would make them the highest taxed people in Louisiana. And it would all be done without a vote of the people. And so I'd like you to look at a pass out that I'm going to give you. First on the left is the ordinance you're considering. It's to authorize the levy of a 1% sales tax. And you'll notice that it's unencumbered. It doesn't say for how long. It doesn't say for what purpose. It's giving a blank check for, I guess, in perpetuity, for this 1% sales tax to be levied, not under the control of the Metro Council or the mayor. We have a lot of concerns about Breck and Katz and others who have like these independent governments that tax, but all of those were with a vote of the people. This is without a vote of the people, which is another interesting part of the bill. If you look at the pass out, it says right to vote is protected and that is, it says such
Mr.
taxes
Jenkins,
and
you got 15
assessments
seconds left.
have to be levied by the vote of the people. But then to the right, it says, no, in this bill, we don't allow the vote of the people because every residence is excluded. This is a scam. On the back, you'll see this was all planned. This is from LSU. I got the document. There will be no registered voters residing in the proposed district. This was before it was ever passed. Importantly, the new tax can be levied against existing businesses in the EDD because a business is not a voter. So please vote no, or at least delay it till you can study more. There are a lot of other issues in this piece
you,
of
Mr. Jenkins.
legislation. Thank you.
Next, we have Shirley Bowler, 705 Maxilist. Hey, Ms. Shirley.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. I'm here because, well, I also am opposed to this particular ordinance. And the reason I would like you to delay any vote on imposing a sales tax is I believe that sales taxes should be imposed with a vote of the people. And this particular district was drawn with the specific purpose of excluding anybody who was a potential voter. Now, why is that important? I reviewed the committee hearings and the floor debate on the bill that authorized this. And I was quite dismayed to find that while the author of the bill clearly answered a question on the Senate floor, it was a Senate bill, started in the Senate, he answers the question on the Senate floor, will there be an election for the taxes imposed by this? And he said no, there are no registered voters, or there are no electors in the district. Well, then the bill goes over to the House. In the House committee hearing, the author makes no comment other than that he does not object to an amendment. The amendment that was offered by the House Municipal and Parochial Affairs Committee was that the election for the tax of this district be conducted during an election for the governor or Congress, to make sure that it was a high turnout election. All the author of the bill does is say, I have no objection to the amendment, when he could have said, I don't have an objection to the amendment because there really won't be an election because there are no registered voters in this district. And if you look at the map that Mr. Jenkins passed out, you'll see that all the residences are islands throughout this. And so it was deliberately, the voters were deliberately carved out. But they're the ones that are going to be paying the 1 cent extra when they make a purchase. When these students walk to the restaurants or the laundromats or the grocery stores or the bookstores in the district, they'll be paying the extra 1%. They got no voice in this. Now, I think there's a way for LSU. They conduct elections for student council. They could certainly hold an election over this tax and find out if the students that I also heard in the testimony by President Tate that it would be 85% of the revenue would be coming from LSU in order to fund for this funding. So there is a way. There is a way to find out if the students support paying the extra penny when they buy and pursue services that they can walk to. And I would respectfully request that you delay a vote on this until you find out if the students are okay with that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Mr. Ryan Cross.
Members of the council, Ryan Cross here on behalf of Our Lady of the Lake Health. Our Lady of the Lake, as many of you may know and have visited us, is Louisiana's largest hospital. We employ across our health system almost 20,000 employees, of which almost 10,000 of them are here in East Baton Rouge Parish. We're also the proud healthcare partners for LSU. We provide healthcare to all 30,000 plus students on LSU's campus through the Student Health Center. We have the privilege of taking care of their student athletes, and we have the privilege of working alongside LSU for innovative medical research, workforce development pipelines, And what we're really focused on right now is ensuring that the best and brightest that graduate from LSU, those that graduate from Southern, that those that graduate from BRCC are able to graduate, get their degrees, and work and stay here in East Baton Rouge Parish. And in order to do that, we have to have a strong university ecosystem, we have to have strong economic development, and we have to have a quality and vitality of life here that makes those young people want to stay. And it's for that reason that we are very strong proponents of this economic development district, so that the dollars that are generated on campus within the boundaries of the district can be reinvested in the district. And we're excited about the future economic development opportunities on the campus. Our Lady of the Lake is looking forward in the next 5 years building a brand new sports medicine institute on campus that's going to be an investment on our behalf of between $50 and $100 million. That will be a destination care where people from across the Gulf South will come seek elite care, whether you're in the community or you're a professional athlete, from the experts here in Baton Rouge. And in order to do that, we have to be able to attract, whether it's sports medicine, cardiovascular care, elite cancer care, we have to have the ability to attract and retain the best clinicians from across America. And in order to do that, we want to continue to invest in LSU, to invest in our quality of life here. And I'm happy to be here to support this initiative and the ordinance. And thank you for all of your support of our healthcare workers who are taking care of our community every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. John Inquist.
Thank you all for the time. I'm on the board of the LSU EDD, and this has been formed to support the entire district around LSU. It's been approved by the legislature, and there is no use been determined right now. That will happen at a future meeting, and it will be a public meeting, and we will notice everybody on it. But this is for the overall good of LSU, and I would remind the council, as Mr. Landry did, Southern was approved for a 1-cent sales tax in the last few weeks here. I don't see why this is any different, but I hope you'll vote yes on this. It's important to LSU and the community.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Penny Mae Landry, and I'm here at the request of Aaron Moak, who posted on Facebook recently that I needed to get out of my backyard on West Contour and come to a meeting. So here I am. Hey, Aaron.
What is that?
How did you know I have a hot tub? Anyway.
That's food.
Okay, I am really concerned about this item. As J.R. Ball said today, it's shrouded in secrecy. There are so many unanswered questions about this that I beg of you to please listen to what was said tonight by both sides, particularly those of you who are Republicans, I'm no party. The Republican Party of East Baton Rouge strongly is opposing this. How you vote tonight may have an impact on you getting re-endorsed in 3.5 years. Having played this political game once, I understand it. The tax issue is major. People are struggling. We need no more taxes. We have a multitude of EDDs already. And if you look at the economic development that has actually happened out of those, like, for instance, Cartana, it's nominal. I live 8 miles from here. It took me 35 minutes to get here. The interstate is backed up almost to Livingston. People are not coming here until we deal with the infrastructure issues. There are major infrastructure issues at LSU. Right now, as I understand it, there's potential legislation for LSU to have its own zip code. Now, how will this EDD be impacted by that? My other concern is that, and I'm going to use a word, and I may get shot down for this, no pun intended, but my concern is about white-collar crime, cartels, cabals, AKA nonprofits. Okay, we have a budget deficit. Our city, our parish is in a world of hurt. We need to deal with those issues first. No more taxes. Vote against this, please, or at least learn what the real
Landry, you got 15
details
seconds.
are. I got it. Just wanted to make sure Aaron knew I was here. I am adamantly opposed to this, and I respectfully ask each of you to vote no. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Please.
Yes, I'm Coleman Brown. I live at 836 Mouton Street. I'm a lifelong Baton Rouge resident, architect, and I've been entrusted with the chairmanship of the East Baton Rouge Parish Chamber of Commerce Infrastructure Committee now for about 10 years. I've worked on everything from the interstate, and I've been asked to work on blight in North Baton Rouge. We have lots of problems. All of you know all about the problems. I don't need to go into them. I was up at Southern Sunday looking at all the chaos that's up there. City National Bank gave them a beautiful building on Scenic Highway years and years ago, and it's just full of homeless people. We really don't need to support LSU. They have plenty of funds already. We have a dire lack of funds, apparently, with this upcoming election, with the Thrive that y'all are trying to solve. So I just implore you to please stop spending city parish funds on state and federal projects. So thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Going once? Seeing none, we'll go to council. Councilwoman Rocca.
Hi, can somebody from finance, from the parish attorney's office, from our taxing district folks, can y'all come up, please? I only have a limited amount of time, and I'm going to try to get through this. I would like to answer some of the questions that were brought up by the folks here in the audience. But I think we need a basic understanding for the public that's watching at home. Can someone please tell me how EDDs are formed and by who?
Hi, I'm Tiffany Delapas with the Finance Department. There are a couple of ways that EDDs are formed. One is through a general statute that allows a local government to create an EDD. That's in 33-903-32. So that's one way that it's formed. Another way is through legislative items. The item tonight was formed through the legislative bill 33-903-876, and it creates college economic development districts, which include the LSU EDD as well as the Southern EDD. And when it happens that way, the legislative item does the boundaries, it determines the board, it determines the authority of the district.
Okay, so currently, are you familiar with the EDDs currently here in East Baton Rouge Parish?
Yes.
So currently in Baton Rouge, we have Capitol House, King Hotel, Blue Bonnet, Lafayette and Maine, EBRATS, Old LMB, Third and Florida, Cortana Corridor, River Center, Southern University, LSU, Harveston, Americana, and Baker. Is that accurate? And of those, the legislator formed LSU, Capitol House, Blue Bonnet, Old LMB, Southern University, Americana, and Baker, correct?
Yes.
And then Metro Council formed King Hotel, Lafayette and Maine, EBRATS, Third and Florida, Cortana Corridor, River Center, Harveston, and Americana. Is that accurate?
What our Metro Council didn't form Americana, that was the Zachary
Zachary.
Metro Council, but the
Thank you
rest
for
of them
that.
were our council.
So, but it was formed by Metro Council?
Yes.
Thank you. So, of these EDDs, how many residents lived in the EDD at the time of formation?
None of those had residents in them at the time of formation.
Okay. What happens tonight if this council approves the levying of taxes through this EDD?
There is a ratification that has to be done by the LSU EDD, and then those taxes would go into effect on October 1st.
Okay, and what happens to the money?
It would be collected by East Baton Rouge Parish and distributed to the district.
Who decides how it's spent?
The district.
Ms. Courtney Humphreys, Ms. King, I'm sorry, I knew you from way back when. Law indicates how money should be spent from the collection. Can you tell me basically how the law dictates or mandates that the funds can be used?
When we reviewed the statute, it looks like the only one thing that we could find as far as use of funds are concerned is under subsection D9 of this particular statute, which is to develop public improvement projects for the benefit of the respective college.
Okay. But ultimately, how they're spent will go back to that board. It will not come to this council, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And it's been said that there's an issue with the amount of sales tax that can be levied, that it's capped in the state of Louisiana. Does this apply to the LSU EDD? If so, tell us how and why. If not, please tell us how and why.
Again, reviewing the statute that's been passed years ago, it looks like in this particular statute, it was written in that sales and use tax levied by this particular district and sub-district created by this district may exceed the limitation that's set forth in the Louisiana Constitution.
Okay, thank you so much. Finally, I think my last question, look, our districts have been redrawn. I had Tigerland, I had all kinds of great places, and Lori Adams stole my hospital from me, and Councilwoman Coleman stole a lot of my LSU and Tigerland area from me. Councilwoman Coleman, I'm going to yield my next 33 seconds to you, but have business owners from my district, now your district, reached out to you? I can personally state that no one has reached out to me, but that may be because we've changed. I know that Tigerland folks have been very active in communicating with me prior to that exchange, but I haven't heard from any of them. I just want to know, just for clarity purposes, if anyone's reached out to you.
No, no one has reached out to me. No one has even voiced any opposition to this. And I have been in the presence of some of the businesses.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this? Is there a motion?
A motion that this pass.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Coleman. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Hudson. Is there any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries.